All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the Muse method. So we're going to close our eyes. We're going to follow our breath. We're going to plug our hands in wherever we need support now. So wherever your body might be speaking the loudest, Bonnie, bring your hands to bring that support there. And now call in any support you need as you connect to your deepest sense of self without making anything wrong, just allowing everything to be there. And now expand as far as feels safe, even if it's just inside of your body. And let's go ahead and begin. And invite in 2 more breaths. Whatever would feel good to make your way back to the screen, just let that come.
Okay.
What are you noticing now after doing the Muse method with all that going on before we did that?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, I just said, well, is there anything you notice now that you just gave yourself that minute to connect?
You know, the volume on my computer is not so good. You're like, it's really echoey. You're gonna have to repeat the question again. Sorry.
Did you notice anything after just that minute of connection?
No, my head was just spinning from topic to topic about diffusing oils and yeah, so I guess I have my dates wrong.
Hmm.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Let me. Okay. Um, yeah. Okay.
So is the volume still echoey? It sounds like there's,
Yeah, it is. It's my computer. I mean, unless I switch to my work computer, but I'd rather not. I don't know. There's something wrong with my laptop, but
okay. Can you hear okay or?
yeah, I mean, you just like there's like an echo, but it's okay.
Yeah. So you've had a lot going on in your life right now with this recent thing in the house with the water leaking. But
Right.
I'm curious, even before that, did you notice anything showing up, like when the self beat up arised, if you did the Muse method at all? I just want to check in on how that went, if at all.
I think there were a couple instances where I was just like, okay, I'm going to nurture myself, and I like
Hmm.
closed my eyes and was able to just kind of be there for myself, you know.
Okay.
Um, Over the weekend, I found myself. Well, I was on my period, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it. It was a really rough day, and we were driving to my parents, my boyfriend and and I like asked him like a question, like, because he was like, "Oh, I met Molly, Ryan's new girlfriend yesterday," you know. And so I said to him, I said, "Oh, so is Molly attractive?" And he's like, "Yeah, she is for Ryan." You know, and then like later on, I was like, "Oh, okay. Does Molly have blonde hair or dark hair?" And he's like, "Oh, stop it." You know, like I was like almost like picking a fight or something.
Mm.
Um, and just being insecure, you know, like if somebody else is attractive, that means I'm less attractive. I even said to him, I said, "Who's more attractive, me or Molly?" You know?
Right. And
I don't know if I'm trying to start a fight or I know it's my insecurity coming out, you know?
And how did you notice how that showed up in you other than the words that you were saying? Was there anything you noticed inside of you?
No, probably just like like a gut wrenching that I am not enough kind of feeling, you know?
Ah, so there's that gut wrenching, I am not enough feeling that shows up. And then from that place right now, you'll say things
Hmm.
in the insecurity, feeding the insecurity.
Right.
And when we're on our period, we're even more sensitive. So, like those things that are always there are amplified.
Right. I did notice that. I was like super fucking agitated.
So, what would have been even more supportive for you? Because you were super fucking agitated. So,
Well, I
what?
went to my parents' house and I realized when I got there, I was really just annoyed with them. Like I probably shouldn't have gone, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But, my mom cooked all this food and she tries really hard to make me happy. And I took one bite of the food and I'm like, it is so salty. I'm like, how much salt could you possibly? I mean, I said, this is so salty. So later on that night when I got home, I called her and I said, hey, sorry for being so critical about the food. I know you try really hard, but that and then the rest of the conversation was just like super fucking annoying me.
Yeah. So you said you probably shouldn't have gone there, but you already had the plans, you already made the food. So was there anything you might have needed in that space, knowing that you weren't going to get out of that?
I don't know.
Yeah. Because it
I could
sounds,
have meditated before I went. I mean, we went to an open AA meeting
uh-huh.
and it sucked. It was a woman I know. She's my sponsee sister. And she's like, oh, I didn't prepare anything. And that is my biggest pet peeve when somebody is a speaker, when
Hmm.
they say, I didn't prepare anything. Fucking prepare something out of the big book, something out of our literature. Don't just go on and on and on about how she abused her child by choking her. She abused her child by this. And like, a lot of the drunkalogs at an AA meeting instead of, and so I went to an open meeting and it was not fulfilling or satisfying whatsoever. Then I went to my parents' house.
So do you have permission to leave a meeting if it's not for you? Because you were fucking pissed.
I could, yeah, but I mean, Ed was chairing the meeting and I was sitting in the front row and, I mean,
Yeah. But you stayed at an open meeting that was just it didn't serve you at all.
you're not going to know till you're there, but I told Ed, I said, this meeting leaves me feeling empty and leaves me feeling really shitty, you know?
So then if these meetings leave you feeling empty and shitty, why are you still going?
Because somebody asked us to chair the meeting. So,
Okay.
no, I don't have to go to that meeting again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's dependent on the speaker. There's always a different speaker.
Right. But how might you honor yourself more in these situations? Because it sounds like you shouldn't, like you could have left the meeting and then maybe not even gone to your parents that day because you were already in a bad place. Like you were in a place of just needing to be with yourself,
Correct.
from what I'm hearing. Yeah. So how could you, in that situation, you could have meditated. Is there anything else? Like, could you have done the Muse method while you were there to help you to come back to your center?
Yeah, maybe I could have closed my eyes for like a minute or so. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm curious if there's any places that you felt like you honored your yes or your no, like where you felt warm and uplifted, not where you felt empty and shitty. Was there anywhere you felt warm and uplifted in the last 2 weeks?
No. Mm-mm.
Hmm.
I mean, I had to make choices say yes to these workers coming into my house. I wasn't happy about it, but I felt like I had to say yes, you know?
And that was because of what was going on, like the problem was
Right.
there. And that was a little bit outside of your control because it has to do with your house. That's not with like you personally. Whereas like these situations, it would have been difficult, but you could have left the meeting even though you were in the front row.
Oh,
And
I did it. Well, on Saturday, I went into the city to get my hair done, and when I came back, we had an option of going to a pool party, like, and I did not want to go because I am not getting in a bathing suit. I'm not comfortable with the weight I've gained recently, and
right.
I don't want my boyfriend staring at other women. And because that's what I think he does, even though he says he doesn't. Um, so I made a reservation to this Mexican restaurant instead, and
Yeah.
we went there, and that was a yes. That was comfortable. I'm glad we went.
And you met yourself and you didn't feed the insecurity versus going to the party would have fed that insecurity.
Correct.
And it's not wrong, Bonnie. It's coming. I recognize it's here for you. It keeps coming up so that you can come back into a place of freedom. And it's very uncomfortable.
I saw my therapist on Friday, and I told him about the pool party, and he's like, "I think you should go. You gotta like, face your anxiety head on, But I'm glad we didn't fucking go. I'm glad we didn't go.
Yeah. Well, Bonnie, what I want to acknowledge is the fact that you honored yourself in that situation. You didn't do what you should do because the counselor said to. You honored what was for you
Right.
because it's not really about Ed. It's about all you can pay, all like what your awareness is focused on is other women that are maybe more beautiful than you,
Right.
as opposed to seeing anything else that might be supportive for you in that space. So I'm wondering when the insecurity arises, could you keep practicing being with yourself?
Mm,
Because rather than filling yourself with more insecurity about is Ed looking at other women, filling yourself with more of Bonnie, having more confidence in who Bonnie is. Because at the end of the day, Ed is with you. But right now, when you respond from the insecurity, the the not the gut wrenching I'm not enoughness, it creates a division between you two.
right. It's even though I want closeness, it actually creates division.
Right. So how is it actually working for you? Like you want closeness, but is it actually giving you closeness?
No. Like when I asked, so is Molly's hair blonde or dark? He's just like, stop it.
What and how is that supporting you, knowing that information? Or is it just
I
continuing
want
to
to know what his type is, like what he found attractive.
what do you find attractive, Bonnie?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's different types of women, and I think confidence is attractive.
Okay, so when you're around a confident woman, what does that feel like for you?
It's like settling. It's yeah, I don't know what word to use.
So there's like a settling type of a feeling that comes upon you when you're around somebody that has that confidence that you desire.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I wish I could be like that.
Yeah. And what if the fact that you're being settled by the fact that you see their confidence is showing that it's already inside of you? It's just
Mm,
accessing it. Because if you're settled and you're not upset about it and judging it, that would mean you're blocking the flow of it when you're judging it and you're resisting it, as opposed to you feel settled in it, meaning what I'm hearing is you're allowing yourself to receive that. So now it's the next level of plugging into Bonnie and expanding so that you can be confident as all of Bonnie.
right.
Because there's always going to be people outside of you that are going to be younger than you, that are going to be all of these things that you are not. but now we're missing all that you are, Bonnie. And rather it's not supporting you, it's keeping you disconnected from Ed. And is it keeping you disconnected from yourself?
Yeah.
Because it's like
I
Bonnie's
did
not as
tell him like the day before. I didn't even realize I said it to him, but I
yeah,
said, "Yeah, I don't want to go to the pool party because I don't feel sexy anymore, and I don't want you looking at other women."
that was very vulnerable. You were honest with him, and you didn't even remember you said it,
Yeah, because the next day I'm like, "Oh, so we're going to the pool party?" He goes, "I thought you didn't want to go," you know?
but he had your back. He honored what you said yesterday.
Right.
And how did that feel with Ed honoring what you wanted? Your yes and your no.
Felt good. But I had to show some insecurity, some vulnerability, you know?
But what if the insecurity was there because you were speaking, you were having your own back for once and not just going along with it? And it was insecure because it's something new to you where you just normally would have followed and gone to the pool party and then been even more insecure.
Right.
But you were brave and being vulnerable and you let Ed in. Did you feel more connected to Ed from that place as opposed to when you led from insecurity about somebody else outside of you, like another woman, if he's looking at her? So with the vulnerability piece, did you feel more connected to Ed in that way?
I don't know, maybe a little.
But it was still hard.
I mean, I'm not showing the best side of myself when I say that, but I was being honest, yeah.
But you were being honest as opposed to you said your gut wrenching, I'm not enough feeling when you were responded from the insecurity. And that created more division between you two.
Right.
So can you feel the difference between like, yes, you responded from a vulnerable place, being honest and transparent versus the other place where you were in the space of I'm not enough and responding from that story. That caused more division. So
I'm
when you're
sorry, repeat that.
yeah, like when you were insecure and responding from that insecurity, it pushed you guys further away from one another. It was
Correct.
on the lack of what you are not, as opposed to you being vulnerable and you were completely honest and transparent on everything that you are.
Hmm.
But that was a subtle shift in perspective, but you were still in power in that place because it was honest and integrous, whereas the other place is you focus on what you are not.
Right.
And then Ed tells you, stop it. I don't care about that.
Right.
So would you be willing to start to meet yourself more and more when the insecurity arises? To learn how to trust yourself that you are everything that is needed. Because you have a really big pile of insecurity that continues to like be piled over you every single time.
Hmm.
As opposed to unearthing Bonnie and saying, yep, that's still there. And I'm going to respond and just be vulnerable. Ed, I don't feel sexy. I don't want to go. And then there's the discomfort after that. Is
Hmm.
that staring in you? Like you were vulnerable and then it was uncomfortable because it was like, wait, he fully received me. So what if this is actually a practice of learning how to be received?
Mm.
And what if you're learning how to receive yourself right now exactly as you are?
Hmm.
Would that be true? I don't know.
Yeah.
And from my experience, when we are learning how to receive, it feels overwhelming. And then sometimes we push it away because it feels so overwhelming that we don't deserve it.
Mm.
Is that true at all for you?
Maybe to some extent.
Yeah. So what if it isn't wrong, but right now you're learning how to hold and receive more right now, and it's uncomfortable because it's new for you?
Mm.
It's like you've started nurturing yourself more. So you're increasing like your ability to hold that.
Mm-hmm.
But the more
Learn to
you,
hold and receive more of what?
more love, more connection, which from what you shared, when you have that, it gives you more confidence and trust in yourself as opposed to making it about what you aren't or what somebody else might be. Focused on the lack, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Does that resonate with you?
Oh, can you repeat that again? Sorry,
Well,
I'm really distracted. I have this stupid house thing in the back of my mind. Um, hold on, text Jerry dates. Okay. Like this is something that I feel like people are out to get me. Like my fucking neighbor's out to get me. My insurance is out to get me. Like my homeowners association is out to fucking get me. And I didn't know. How did I know? I didn't even have any fucking water anywhere. I
right.
didn't even know I had a leaking pipe. It's like,
Yeah,
and as soon as I found out, I took care of it.
right. So is it really true that your neighbor's out to get you?
I don't know. He's a really fucking annoying asshole. He's annoying to me. He's like up in my business.
Yeah. That doesn't feel good to have
Like
somebody.
I feel violated. I feel fucking violated. Like the plumber was here the other day, and I walked down, and then all of a sudden, my neighbor's standing in my fucking house. What? I said, get out, get out. What? Who the fuck told him he could come into my fucking house? Like I just feel violated, and now he's calling me. Oh, where should I send the bill and all this shit?
Is there anything that would help to make you feel safe in this very raw space where you feel violated?
I don't know. And then I talk about it with my boyfriend, and he comes off very shaming to me. I feel he's trying to be helpful. He's like, you gotta write everything down, and you better do this, and you better do that, and I feel very shamed by him.
Yeah. What would be more supportive for you in this situation? Because I welcome those tears that are here, Bonnie. What would support you in this? Because this is already really traumatic.
He ripped up all this shit, and it smells, and fucking my house has got all these fans going, and it's fuck.
So it sounds
Cats are scared.
well, it sounds like you're overwhelmed. You've got these weird smells, these loud noises, people coming into your sacred space.
Yes.
There's destruction in the house now. Things are like torn apart. So what if you just need some space to be and rest? Where do you feel safe to do that?
In my meditation room, I want to sit down and I want to meditate. That's what I want to do.
And you have space? Do you have space after our time together today to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else? Is there any other places that make you feel safe in case you need to get out of the house?
I could go for a walk.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes me feel safe, but it gets me out of the house. So,
Is it supportive to get out of the house, to get out of the mess that's around you right now and all the noise and all the smells?
I mean, I could sit in my backyard.
Because maybe being in the house a little too much right now at times?
Maybe.
Okay. Would you be willing to just experiment with that? Go sit outside in your backyard or go for a walk and just see if how you feel after that or during that? Are you more
Yeah.
would you like to do the music again to be with all of this that's here? Because right now it sounds like your thoughts are pressing down on you and they're consuming you. Is that true?
I mean, unless I go outside now, because I mean, I feel like I'm a fucking prisoner right now.
Would it be, can you go outside with the computer?
I could.
Let's do
Here,
it.
give me a second.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
let's get you out of feeling like a prisoner.
Maybe we're, yeah. I'm diffusing thieves.
Oh, well, that's good. And if there's mold and tea tree for the fungus,
1 second, Jenny. Oh,
oh,
your
oh, okay.
smell, and then the noise.
Yeah. How does this space feel for you
This,
now?
I'm in my backyard.
Yeah. I saw you exhale when you got out there, so it seemed like it was already a relief.
Yeah,
Would you like to do the music again for just 30 seconds to just kind of connect from this place now that you're outside in this piece?
that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and close our eyes. Begin to follow the breath. Let it move far, deep, and wide inside of you, Bonnie. And now bring your hands wherever you feel most of your essence, your light, your whatever you feel inside of you. Bring your hands to that space where you feel the most power of you in there. And let's expand into that place. Connect with all that's here, the tears that were here, the frustration that was here, allowing all of that to be here. And just be curious as to what you might notice from your body. If your brain starts to take over in the thoughts, just notice what you notice. What's showing up? Just keep inviting your brain. Stay curious. And just notice what you notice through all your senses. Let's go. And take another 2 or 3 breaths, continuing to connect with all that's here and expand. Whenever you're ready, you can make your way back. Just take your time.
Well, this computer is so hot.
No,
Anyway,
yeah. Ronnie, what would support you well in this transition with the house, with things shifting and being fixed and all the stuff that you have right now?
I don't know. Maybe like do what I'm doing now, taking a time out outside.
Yeah. Would you be willing to do that more if you need it? If you're feeling
Yeah.
overwhelmed and you're get in the spinning of your thoughts with everything that you have to do? Because you said that it sounds like Ed is shaming you, but then you were like, in a sense, you were taking his advice and doing that, making sure you got everything written down, making sure you had like continuing to beat yourself up in that process. So how can you maybe nurture yourself a little bit more through this hard time? Because this is a lot of crap.
I
It really.
mean, I could just take the time out to make, I mean, I could text the neighbor. Um,
You're texting your neighbor and then taking time outside. Are you texting him right now?
no, I'm not. I'm just looking back at text messages. Anyway, okay.
So I'm curious, are you learning anything about yourself in this whole process with all of this happening right now?
Well, I'm taking action.
Hmm.
Money fucking talks. I mean, you write somebody a check and then they fucking demolish your place. I mean,
Yeah,
um, I'm grateful I have a job that I could afford this, and even though I'd rather be putting money towards something else,
yeah.
I don't know what if what I'm doing is right. I mean, it's hot as hell. Do I turn off the air conditioning and open up all the windows? I don't know.
What's going to make that environment the best for you? Is it keeping the AC on so you're more comfortable in that space where it's already loud and smelly?
Yeah.
And what if like it, what do you notice as you're taking action with this stuff, like moving towards what you desire in your life with the house, like getting this thing rectified? What are you noticing in that? Because that's been an area you've been wanting more movement in.
Well, yeah, I remember I had all those jeans from Nordstrom that didn't fit. I stopped at Nordstrom on Saturday and I returned him. I got $377 back.
That's amazing.
But then I went upstairs and I'm like, oh, let me see if I can find a pair of shorts that fit me. And I don't know if I was in the wrong fucking department or if I was in a juniors department, but every single fucking thing I tried on was too tight. Every single thing. And I'm talking about going up like 4 sizes, Jenny. I mean, I used to be a 6'8",
Yeah.
6'8". I was trying on 12s. I was trying on 14s. I was like, what is going on? Because I've gained some weight, but I didn't think I was that fat. I really didn't. I mean, they must have been junior sizes because I can't believe it.
Well, is that really true that you're fat? Maybe you've gained some weight. That could be true. What is here that's caused this with you for you, the weight gain?
Wait, what?
I,
What caused the weight gain? Shoving food into my mouth.
okay, awesome. And is that working for you still?
I also quit smoking. So
Okay. Was it really because you quit smoking and now you're finding a new path?
could be.
So
Or it
How,
could be my medication. I'm on a medication that's very well known to cause weight gain.
okay, so could it be both things? Quitting smoking and on this medication?
Yeah, it could be both. Yep.
So how can you meet yourself knowing that you're on this medication and you quit smoking and you're doing a hard thing right now by choosing to breathe fresh air? So when the story that you're fat comes up, can you meet yourself and say, "Oh my God, I'm able to breathe fresh air right now because I'm choosing to live a life that I want and I'm still in between right now."
Hmm.
Because maybe long term, like your vision is more that you're going to be at your ideal weight, shape, and size. And right now you're in the middle because part of that vision is you being smoke free, right?
Right. If I picked up cigarettes, I probably would lose weight, but I don't want to. I went on over 9 months now of no cigarettes.
Bonnie, that's huge. And what are the benefits you're experiencing from not smoking for the last 9 months?
Um, I'm breathing better. I'm not coughing as much. I don't feel like shameful about that.
So there's not the self beat up that's happening because of that.
I don't have to like hide it.
Yeah, there's no more hiding. Are you also saving money too?
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
Okay. So you're even financially saving money, supporting your longer term visions. So
Uh-huh.
can we celebrate and acknowledge how far you've come in the last 9 months of being
Right.
free and how much you've created for yourself of breathing better, of having more income, of also creating more space for yourself to breathe just fresh air.
Right.
And right now your body's adjusting to not having the substance anymore. And you don't have the self beat up. So now you have more space for more of Bonnie to come up.
Right.
Because when you're beating yourself up all the time, does it feel safe for you to come out?
No.
But when you start to nurture yourself like you've been doing, do you feel safe to be met in that place? So I'm wondering if this weekend with the insecurity, if that showed up for you to invite you to start to choose a different way, to start to honor Bonnie and not feed the insecurity anymore.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
So if it even shows up in our time together, would you be willing to name it and just say, I'm feeling insecurity. I'm feeling that gut wrenching, I'm not enoughness, so that we can practice being with it?
So what if it pops up while I'm with Ed and I think he's looking at another woman?
So what could you do to support you in that moment where your attention is drawn outside of Bonnie to Ed and to this other woman? How could you come back home and connect back to Bonnie?
I could go back to my breath.
You can go back to your breath. Could you do the Muse method? Even just, you could keep your hands on your thighs. He wouldn't even notice you're doing it.
Hmm.
Could you do the Muse method and come back to your center and nurture yourself, nurture the insecurity that is there, rather than feed the insecurity by speaking from that insecurity, from that fear that you're not enough?
Hmm.
Would you want to try experimenting with that?
Yeah.
And are you willing to be messy in between? Because it might not look perfect. And would you be willing to tell Ed, like, when that shows up and you accidentally respond from the fear and the insecurity of not enough, I'm working on responding in a new way and I'm still figuring this out.
Mm.
So now you're being vulnerable with him and you're letting him in, but you're not making it about somebody else.
Right.
Does that resonate with
He
you?
usually gets mad. I mean, it started big fights with us before because I come off as being accusatory to him. He thinks I'm accusing him of looking or wanting somebody else, you know?
Well, are you accusing him of looking and wanting somebody else?
Or the way I've said it in the past, you know, like, oh, you looking at her, whatever, you know?
Yeah. So in the past, yes, that would have been the case, the accusatory.
I mean, I actually, now that I think about it, on the Friday night meeting, my friend Edie gave a lead and she was wearing very tight, hot pink metallic leggings. And
Wow.
in the past has said, well, yeah, Edie's attractive, you know.
Mhm.
So after the meeting was done, everyone's standing around talking, and Edie's ass is right in front of us because she has her back to us. She's talking to somebody else. And I said, oh, are you looking at Edie? And then he's like, no.
Were you looking at Edie?
I can look at her pants and be like, okay, but I'm wondering if he's looking at her in a lustful way.
And what if he's looking at her in a lustful way?
Well, then that's not cool.
No. But is you accusing him of doing that helping the situation?
I guess I wanted confirmation that he wasn't looking at her, but
Is that really, really meeting the emptiness that is there? Because you said you
if
haven't,
Edie wasn't wearing those fucking leggings and standing right in front of us, I probably wouldn't have had a problem.
right? But can you control Edie?
No.
Who do you have control over?
Control Ed. I wish I could. I wish I could control Ed
Right. But you can't. So who can you control?
myself.
So can you come back home to yourself in those moments where you have lustful thoughts around other women because you think Ed might also?
My therapist tells me even though I think it, I shouldn't say it, you know, that I should bring it up in therapy instead.
Well, what if you speak it to yourself rather than to Ed?
Hmm.
Not saying it to him, not putting it about him, making it about you. Naming the insecurity. I'm insecure right now. You don't have to say that out loud. Just internally, I'm feeling insecure right now. I'm feeling that gut wrenching, I'm not enough feeling here. I need to come back home.
But what was she doing wearing that stuff to a meeting? Like who, I mean, you know,
Is it really about that, Bonnie, or is it really about the insecurity? And right now it's about the pants, but it's not really about the pants.
I don't know. She's got 3 kids. She just actually had a baby a year ago, a third one. And I'm envious of that. She's got a lot of fucking money. She's got a lot of fucking money. Her husband makes a lot of fucking money. She drives a Tesla and she's got three kids, you know?
So what if the insecurity is actually about being envious of something that you desire? And right now the insecurity, it just feels louder, but it's really envy.
I feel like I could deal with it the, I don't know, maybe a little bit envious, but I just don't want my boyfriend looking at other women, other women's asses. I just don't want him doing that.
And is that something that you can physically control?
No.
No. But if you by accusing him and disconnecting from him through the insecurity, is that really supporting what you desire moving you forward?
No.
Because would you want a partner that's accusing you of something maybe you're not even doing?
Maybe he was. He said Edie, he thought Edie was attractive in the past. You
He
know?
might have been. He might have been. But also, what if over time, because he's been accused, it's making him want to look? 'Cause he's like, well, fine. She thinks I'm doing it. I'm just going to do it.
Huh. Butt hurts sitting here.
He's like, yeah, change positions.
Can we wrap up because I'm just feeling
Yeah. What would feel good to end
uncomfortable
our
out
time
here.
together? Then what would feel good to end our time well?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I guess, is there anything you're walking away with? What are you walking away with from our time together today?
Um, about having more confidence. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Confident in all of myself. Um, learning to hold on and receive more love, more connection. That's it.
Okay. You said you're having more confidence, you don't know how. Are you willing to keep connecting to yourself and not have to know how of how you're going to build more confidence, knowing that through connection, you will be filled up with more body?
Wait, what did you say? The more,
I said, would you be willing to connect with yourself more when you lose yourself throughout the day? Saying, like, just by connecting, you're building trust and you're building confidence. You don't have to know how. Are you willing to
okay,
cut down the how and just keep filling up with more of Bonnie?
okay,
And then by default, the confidence will be there over time.
okay.
Does
I'll
that,
write. Yeah, that sounds good.
okay? So are you still doing the Muse method 3 times a day?
I
Whatever
some
your is good.
sometimes
Okay. So maybe just,
kind of like my alarm just went off for the Muse method, but we were busy, so
well, and we had done it already twice already in this session. So we've already done it twice.
right,
So even if it's for 10 seconds, just committing to plugging in and connecting, that's all you're doing, at least 3 times a day.
right. Okay.
Okay. So then let's look. Did you want to look at our session for next time?
Yeah, do you want to do
Okay. So do you want to take next week off since we're towards the end of this week? Take the 8th off and then go the next week?
um yeah, like the 15th
Yes, the 15th.
at 3?
Yeah, does that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I've got you down on the 15th at 3 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And reach out if you need any support. If the shit keeps hitting the fan, Bonnie, reach out. I'm here to support you in between our time together.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay. All right. I'll follow up with the email and your recording and everything.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Jenny. Take
All
care.
right. You too. Thanks, Bonnie.
Bye.